Hey guys, James here, how's it going? So this is a response to Scouse Casper's video, a question of models. I left a link down below to her original video and also some Wikipedia articles which she had on her video as well. I wanted to just comment on the video in the comments section, but I realised that the 500 character limit was just nowhere near enough. So that's why I'm making this video. So Casper's video is talking about the treatment of disabled people and which model of treatment you support. On the one hand, you have the social model, which basically, in its simplest form, states that society should adjust itself in order to accommodate for disabled people, and it's to do with getting rid of prejudice and empowerment and that kind of thing. And on the other hand, you have the medical model, which basically says that people with any form of disabilities should be given medical treatment, whether it's through pharmaceutical drugs or surgery, to help them better fit into society. So personally, I support both models under certain circumstances. It's very, very rare that I take an extreme stance of something, so that often leads to a hell of a lot of problems. And so in this video I'd like to talk about problems that I perceive from taking the extremes on both sides of this particular argument. So UK law and policy seems to advocate both sides at the moment anyway. It advocates treatment for people with disabilities, but also suggests that employers should make adjustments in order to accommodate people with various disabilities. Personally, I'm all for reasonable adjustment in terms of employment, but I also think you should employ the best person for the job, and I do quite heavily disagree with what people call positive discrimination. An example of this, which isn't to do with disabilities, would be with the Army, the Navy and the police force, and I'm sure there's many other jobs where this also applies, where the entry requirements for women are substantially lower than the entry requirements for men. They're paid the same, yet they don't have the same level of responsibility to perform as men do. Quite frankly, I think this is absurd. If a woman can perform as well as a man, she should have every single right that a man does in order to do the job. If she can't, then quite frankly, she shouldn't be given the job or shouldn't be paid as much. So I'm going to talk now about the social model. In general, I pretty much support it, nearly 100%, but I do have two problems which I can see with it, which are generally among the more extreme supporters of it. The first one, I could potentially see them pushing for what I would label as positive discrimination quite heavily. And the second problem I see is that they do seem to be very against the medical model. And sure, the medical model isn't without its problems, I'll get to that in a second. So there's certain groups such as a small percentage of the deaf community being against giving cochlear implants to children. For those people, I've got one thing to say to you. I perfectly understand that most deaf people are perfectly well-adjusted, normal people who fit perfectly well into society, and their disability doesn't cause them massive amounts of problems. But to have the sheer fucking audacity to deny children the gift of fucking hearing is fucking insane. Deafness is objectively a disability. It's a missing sense. You can't neglect a child that when you have the power to change it. It's not like they're just different, it's not something that, they're just different from other people. It's not like being left-handed or gay or anything like that. It's objectively a disability. And if you asked 1,000 people whether they prefer to be deaf or whether they prefer not to be deaf, I'm sure at least 99% of them would rather be able to hear, and I'm sure even the vast majority of the deaf community would be overjoyed if they could suddenly be able to hear. One final comment then on the whole cochlear implant issue is, sorry, you just can't wait for a kid to become an adult before letting them decide whether or not they want the implant or not. Your ability to pick up new languages and deal with grammar and those kind of things has been proven to decrease massively as you get older. So to deny a child the right to be able to hear until they're an adult, I'm sorry, but it's too late. They're never going to have the same grasp and same articulation of their language as they would if they got the implant when they were a baby. Then you've also got people saying that people with autism and Asperger's syndrome shouldn't be treated. I can understand this argument more than I can for deafness because it's not objectively a disability in a way. Many people with autism have extremely good skills in other areas, such as Bill Gates and possibly Einstein, as well as lots of the other great scientific minds of the world. So if there was a cure, then we would potentially be losing out on a lot of these great people. But I do think that people with autism should be given training for social skills. I don't think they should be given any drugs to control their behaviour or anything like that, because potentially that will hold back a lot of their other abilities. So yeah, I mean, that's my main problem with the extreme advocates of the social model. That they seem to think that by treating a disability, that somehow that is disempowering disabled people. It's absolute fucking nonsense. Both models need to be adhered to. Disabilities are disabilities because they're fucking disabilities. If they can be treated without side effects, I see no good reason why they shouldn't be. That idea it's just insane. I mean, you wouldn't stop someone with diabetes from having insulin, and you wouldn't shut down Weight Watchers because that's somehow disempowering obese people. They're the same person, they've got the same skills, they've got the same positive attributes, but you're helping them. I do not get how anyone could be against this, I really don't. Furthermore, they imply that anyone who disagrees with them has the same ideas which led to the concept of eugenics. So they're basically calling everyone who disagrees with them Nazis. Seriously, what the fuck? So now I'm moving on to the medical model, and again I see two main flaws with this idea. I mean, they don't seem to be against the social model as heavily as the supporters of the social model are against the medical model. But I see two problems. The first problem is what people classify as a disability or a problem in a person. So, for example, being gay or being left-handed, or possibly having mild autism, those kind of things. In the past, people considered them to be massive problems, and people actually try to fix those people. So, I mean, that's the main problem I see with the medical model is, who determines what's a disability and what is simply being different. And as I sort of mentioned before, I think there are things which can be considered objectively a disability, and there are things which are subjectively a disability. So, yeah, that's the main problem. The second problem I see is weighing up the cost, the inconvenience, and the side effects of the treatment compared to dealing with the disability. Zomgits did an excellent video on this topic as well, which I'll link down in the description bar as well. And the cases where there are clearly lots of inconveniences and side effects for a treatment, those sort of things I think should be done with pure consent for the individual. Those sort of things should not be thrust upon children, but an adult should be able to decide whether or not they want to be treated in such a way. Those are my opinions. I'm looking forward to comments, video responses, and all the hate mail I'm going to get for doing this video. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.